My name is Greg, and I hit the big 5-0 2 months ago. I've been a dad for 24 years, a husband for 27, and I've been clocking in at the same job for almost 3 decades. I'm the kind of guy who tackles plumbing before I even eat, knows everyone's special day without needing a Facebook prompt, and I've been clearing the snow before anyone else is even awake since '98. I never really wanted a lot. No mansion, no flashy car, and I never craved a ton of attention. I just wanted respect. A little bit of thanks would have been appreciated too. But respect? That's what I figured I always had. I didn't realize how off I was until the day I turned 50. Now my family isn't terrible. Or at least, that's what I used to believe. We've had our share of good times and bad. Like most families, my wife Carol and I got hitched young, had our son David a few years later, and then along came Emma. I worked while Carol was home with the kids until they were older. And when she went back to work, I switched my hours so I could pitch in more at the house. I never grumbled. That's what partners do, right? Or so I thought. But somewhere along the way, I guess I stopped being a person and became just the guy in the background. The money source, the taxi driver, the one behind the camera who never makes it into the photo. The morning of my birthday started out typical, normal. Carol made pancakes. Kind of. They were freezing when I got downstairs because she'd already left to drive Emma to a yoga class. She left a sticky note that said Happy 50th plastered to the coffee machine. No call, no nothing, just a note, but I smiled anyway. I thought they were up to something, maybe a fancy dinner out. Perhaps we'd hit up that Italian joint I loved. Maybe my son would come home from school like he used to when he missed us. I held on to that little bit of hope then. That was my problem. Around lunchtime, Carol texted me, "Don't fill up." "We have a thing." I didn't pry. I assumed it was supposed to be a surprise. Then around 4, they told me to get ready. Dress nice, but not too formal. So I put on some slacks and a button-down shirt, ironed it, shaved, and even splashed on the cologne Carol used to dig when she still paid attention to stuff like that. And then I waited. 45 minutes crept by. No sign of anyone. Finally, David called. "Hey Dad, can you grab a cake from Mitchell's on your way to Aunt Sandy's? Mom forgot to order one." I just froze. "You want me to get my own birthday cake?" Total silence. Then David chuckled. "Come on, it's just easier. You're closest to Mitchell's, right?" I didn't push it. I went and got the cake. Chocolate ganache with gold accents. Looked fancy and probably cost a fortune. I paid up without a peep, drove over to Sandy's, cake in tow, and still I was thinking maybe, just maybe, this was all a crazy scheme for a sweet surprise. Something silly for sure, but still sweet. Maybe a video or even just a toast from someone saying, "Hey Greg, thanks for keeping this family going." Nope. Instead, I walked into a room that looked like a college bash. So there I was, surrounded by streamers, those awful party hats, and balloons with my mug all over them, badly cropped, of course. And smack dab in the middle of the fireplace, this huge white banner, all sparkly gold letters screaming, "Congratulations on mediocrity." I just stopped dead. I swear I froze. Still holding the cake, I couldn't believe it. Everyone was there: Carol, Emma, David, my in-laws, cousins, even coworkers. They were all laughing, snapping pictures of that stupid banner, pointing at it like it was the funniest thing ever. Carol was practically striking a pose under it like it was some kind of joke of the century. She even took a selfie with the thing, then dragged Emma into it. Nobody even noticed me at first. I was just standing there, completely dumbfounded. Mediocrity? Was that what I was now? Some kind of ongoing punchline. When Carol finally saw me, she just smiled this big smile and said, "Isn't it hilarious?" Emma, the mastermind behind it all, grinned and said, "It's satire, Dad, like ironic roasting, 'cause you're so consistent." Consistent? That word. I mean, you use it for toasters, alarm clocks, not people. David slapped me on the back, saying, "Lighten up, Dad, it's just a joke." I didn't say a word. I just took that cake to the kitchen, put it down, and started getting drinks ready. I opened bottles, poured glasses, snapped pictures of everyone else having fun, made sure the older folks had places to sit. I even cleaned up after everyone started leaving. Carol and her sister went out for drinks later. Emma took off with her friends. "Great party, huh?" David said before he took off. After everyone left, I ended up alone in the kitchen. The decorations were still up, and there was a half-full glass of warm punch by the sink. I cleaned it anyway. That night, I didn't say a word. No yelling, no tears. I went upstairs, threw some clothes and my laptop into a bag, grabbed the emergency cash envelope. It was funny how no one knew about it except me and just drove away. I didn't leave a note. What was the point if they couldn't figure it out on their own? A letter wouldn't have changed anything. I didn't go very far at first, just a couple towns over. I got a room in a little inn with terrible internet and no plans for the next few days. I didn't answer my phone. The texts started to roll in. Where are you? Did you go to Jim's? Are you mad about the party? Can you send me the group photos? That one was from Carol. I deleted every single message. About a week later, I checked Facebook just to see. That's when I saw David's post. It was a photo of us from his little league game. I was kneeling next to him, my jeans covered in mud, grinning like an idiot while he held up his trophy. The caption read, "If anyone sees my dad, please tell him we didn't mean it. We love you. Please come home." That's when the guilt really hit me. The silent, persistent kind. The kind that tells you maybe you're overreacting, that maybe it was all just a mistake. I guess they did care in their own messed up way. I was so close to leaving again, seriously. But then this email popped up, just a short one from Carol. "No, I miss you. No, we were wrong. Nothing like that. Just, please let me know when you'll be back. There are bills to pay." That's when everything inside me changed. It was like a switch flipped. Something that'd been frozen for ages suddenly sprang to life. And that's when I did it. I made the call that changed my whole life. I called Peter, an old buddy. We hadn't spoken much these past few years, but we were thick as thieves back in the day. We met when we were both in our 20s, slogging away at warehouse jobs. Then I moved up into operations, and he started his own contracting gig. Peter always said I was too reliable for my own good. I used to think that was a nice thing to say. This time, he didn't even say hello. He just answered and said, "About time." We talked for hours. I spilled everything. Not just about that stupid birthday banner, but all the little things I hadn't even realized were getting to me. Like how Carol hadn't asked about my day in ages. How Emma only called when she needed a loan. How David only ever talked shop when he wanted a favor. It felt like my whole life was about what I could give, not who I was. I felt like a human ATM. And the worst part, I let them treat me that way. Peter didn't tell me to go back home. He didn't tell me to go, not exactly. What he actually said was, "Maybe it's time you stopped always fixing everyone else's problems." That really hit home, so I just stayed. I didn't answer anybody. Used some vacation days. I had a ton saved up, naturally. I went for long walks, never telling a soul where I was heading, ate whenever I felt like it, and slept without setting an alarm. I even grabbed a notebook and began writing down things I wanted to do. Not fix the broken porch or help Emma with her taxes. Stuff like learn how to cook a fancy dish, take a trip by myself, and start painting again. Things I hadn't done since I was 25, back when I still had goals that didn't involve being a free repair guy. Meanwhile, the messages slowly changed. Carol started out worried. "We miss you. Please call us." Then they turned kinda annoyed. "You're acting like a kid." Then, practical. The mail's overflowing and the water heater needs looking at. Finally, they stopped coming. But I didn't stop. I started remembering little things, like how Carol used to draw in the edges of grocery lists when we were newlyweds, or how she waited outside my work for 3 hours to give me a kiss when I was having a bad day. Where did that woman vanish to? Or maybe it's more accurate to wonder, where did we go? Somewhere between raising kids, paying bills, and just surviving the week. We forgot how to laugh, how we used to hold hands even when we were fighting. Now she could sit under a sign making fun of me and take selfies? Well, that wasn't a bad week. It's all garbage. And then there were the kids. David used to practically fling himself at me when I got home. Emma used to beg me to tuck her in and make up ridiculous stories about talking dogs. They used to listen to me. Now they barely lift their eyes from their screens. When I tried to actually talk to them, I'd get a shoulder shrug and some half-hearted smiles. And still, I paid for their schooling, still bought their textbooks, still dropped whatever I was doing when they needed a ride. Money, advice, a shoulder to cry on. I was always on call, never off the clock, never getting any thanks. So I just stopped. 1 week turned into 2. Eventually, I rented a little cabin way up north. Nothing special, really. Just a little place with a fireplace, a rickety porch swing, and a view of the lake. I signed a 3-month lease. Didn't tell a soul. I started writing. Not for anyone else, just for me. I made coffee the long, slow way and learned how to roast vegetables. I started painting again, terribly, but I was excited. I found an old easel in a second-hand shop and set it up by the window. I'd wake up at 6 in the morning just to watch the sunrise spread over the lake and try to catch the colors with acrylic paints that smelled like childhood. The silence wasn't oppressive. It was freeing. One night, after about 3 weeks at the cabin, I finally decided to check my email. I had over 300 unread messages. I glanced through them. Most of it was junk. A few from work, one from Emma that just said, "Can we please talk?" That one stuck with me. But what really threw me was a voicemail I hadn't seen until then. It was Joe, my neighbor. He texted, "Hey Greg, not sure if you're around, but Carol's been having a lot of company lately. No, see, I know, but I saw a guy leaving her place last night. Just thought you should know." I listened to that message 3 times. It wasn't that I was heartbroken or anything. To be honest, I felt nothing. No rage, no envy, just this quiet, hollow feeling. Like a final piece of proof that I'd been living a lie in a relationship that hadn't cared about me in ages. If she had someone else, well, maybe it had been going on a while. Or maybe she just grabbed the first guy who could fix a leaky faucet. Whatever. It wasn't my problem anymore. So I figured it was time to move on. I called my boss and asked for a long break, maybe even a sabbatical. I was shocked when he said yes. He said I was the most dependable employee he'd ever had, that the place wouldn't be the same without me. I almost lost it right then and there. It was the first time in forever someone really saw me. A few days later, a letter showed up in the mailbox. Not an email, not a text. A real, honest-to-goodness letter. The return address was David's college. Inside, just one line, "I'm sorry, Dad, we really didn't mean it, but I think we all need to understand who you are, not just what you do." And underneath, a picture, the same one from my Little League days, except this time, David had crossed out the trophy and written, "My hero." Right then, I knew there was no going back. I wasn't that guy anymore, the one they thought they knew. The guy who always made the drinks, took the photos, and cleaned up afterward. I was done being a ghost in my own life. If I ever did go back, it would be different on my terms. But before I could even think about that, Carol called. Her voice was tight, her breathing all shaky. "Greg," she said, "we need to talk, it's about the house." I just listened. She let out this big sigh. "I think someone's been taking money from our joint account." I didn't say a word, just waited. She sounded like she was about to crack, trying to play it cool but barely holding it together. "It's probably nothing," she rushed out, a little too fast. "Just a mistake, you know, a glitch. Maybe a stolen card, I don't know, but some of the charges are weird. Furniture, a hotel stay, golf clubs, I thought maybe it was you." "I haven't touched that account in weeks," I said, my voice totally flat. Silence. Then she kind of coughed. "Okay, well, someone has been using it, and it's not me." A long pause hung in the air. I could practically feel her trying to figure things out, pretending she didn't already know what was going on, that someone new was probably spending the money I'd busted my ass for all those years. I didn't ask how much was gone. I didn't ask who she suspected. I wasn't her husband anymore, not the way she was talking to me. I was just the handyman, the guy who used to fix the sink and lug the tables up to the attic after parties. So, there I was, the one who walked away, and she finally got it behind all the tough girl act and social media posts. She actually needed me. "Carol," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "you gotta call the bank, cancel those cards, change all your passwords, and get that money into an account that's just yours." She was silent for a sec. Then, she said, "So you're not gonna help me." It wasn't about the how-to, it was about who was in charge, about our old roles, about the old me who'd have zoomed home, checked every penny, called the fraud department, and had it all fixed